American Lithium has namesake projects in North and South America. Simon Clarke is CEO. Simon, welcome to Kitco.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Simon, maybe we can start with TLC first in Nevada. If you follow the lithium space, you're acquainted with brines, you're acquainted with hard rock, but the TLC, that's a clay project.
Correct. Yeah, I think people will know in the lithium world that most of the lithium produced in the world today comes either from hard rocks, mainly out of Australia, which are typically then refined in China, or from the brines from South America. In Nevada, we have a slightly different source of mineralization. It's a claystone. It's a sedimentary trend. It's known as the Esmeralda trend, and there's a number of companies that have well advanced their projects now along that trend and looking to move into production.
Let's talk about some of those projects that are close by.
Yeah, so we have up further north on the Oregon border, you have Thacker Pass, which is Lithium Americas, which has been successfully piloted. They did get a mine permit, although they've had some recent high-profile issues in court around environmental and cultural issues. But that's a big project that's moving forward. Then closer to us, we have Ioneer, which is a project that's well through feasibility. And then, further south from us, you have Cypress, which again is a claystone project that is being piloted as we speak. So there's been a lot of work on this trend in the last few years. It's one of the biggest sources of lithium in North America, and we ultimately believe is going to be a key part of the domestic supply chain.
Talk about what this operation looks like if it goes into production, Simon. What does a clay operation look like?
Well, for us, it's a near surface blanket style of mineralization, typically somewhere between 100, 150 feet thick. So lends itself to a lot of conventional mining techniques. It's a lower grade form of deposit where we are, but the benefits we have are the fact that we're in a basin that is cold water. So what that meant is when the lithium was deposited, it was low energy deposited, and so we need low energy to get it out. It's very amenable to acid leaching. It's also very amenable to roasting. So it has some advantages over a number of the other players. I'd say the other big piece that we have in our favor is we're in a piece of Nevada in the high desert where we don't have environmental species. We don't have issues with species or plants on the environmental side, and minimal issues on the cultural side as well. It's an ideal location, we believe, to build a mine and a processing plant ultimately. We're 15 minutes outside of the town of Tonopah in Nye County, which we think is one of the best jurisdictions to be in Nevada, which in itself is one of the best jurisdictions globally.
Simon, you recently secured water rights for TLC.
Absolutely. Being in the high desert, water's obviously at a premium, and everyone is looking at technologies and latest processes to minimize water usage. But when you're mining and processing, there is a certain amount of water that you do require. So, relatively early on, the company locked up an initial ranch in and around the Tonopah area, which gave an underlying amount of water for the project. We've taken the view in recent times that given the potential scale of this project, we wanted to secure additional rights. So we just bought another ranch in the neighborhood. So we have a couple of ranches. We have approximately 2,500 acre feet of water, which we can repurpose and reuse for mining and processing when the project reaches that stage.
Let's swing south to your hard rock, Falchani in Peru. You announced today that you kicked off some pre-feasibility work.
Absolutely. So Falchani is, we believe, a bit of a hidden gem. It's unusually for South America, it is a hard rock. it's actually a unique style of hard rock. It's what we would call a volcanic tooth. So the way the lithium is hosted is actually it's in a very pure form. Again, sitting at surface in columns up to 200 meters thick, but it's not bound in with the mineral. It sits, as I say, in this volcanic glass. When we actually acquired the company, or sorry, when the company actually came to figure out could they take this amazing lithium asset and actually extract lithium from them, they found pretty quickly that they were able to. They put a comprehensive flow sheet together, which kind of combines elements of hard rock mining with brine flow sheets. And on the first pass, they were able to produce a battery grade lithium carbonate. So it's a high grade, high purity asset that has the potential to be one of the biggest mines on the planet. Is certainly our view. Certainly one of the biggest mines in South America.
How do the two projects complement one another, Simon? Because they're different operations, although from what I understand within the lithium space is that every single project is pretty bespoke.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of complementary aspects to it. I mean, as you all know, we acquired Falchani in April of last year when we acquired Plateau Energy. And, with the success we'd had in Nevada, we had good currency in our stock price. We wanted to add some geological and geographic diversity, looked at a number of projects, and for one reason or another, we believe Plateau was highly undervalued. They'd had some much publicized issues around ownership of some of their concessions. It was baked into their price. Again, we looked at the PEA on Falchani, and we saw a really robust project with high purity. So, it was for us, it made a lot of sense. And the other thing it did is you have what is quite a unique style of mineralization at Falchani, even though it's a hard rock. And when you're looking to bring on a claystone in Nevada, which again is, if you like, a relatively new form of mineralization, we wanted the ability to bring the team that they had put together on the technical side and had discovered Falchani and taken it to battery grade in a very short 2-year period. We wanted to have that technical expertise in-house as we developed TLC as well. So the team in Peru and globally that we have that really took Falchani to where it is today is now helping us move TLC through the development cycle. And we will have a maiden PEA at TLC within the next couple of months here. We're also doing a very large scale drill program, and that team is very much to the fore.
What's your funding situation?
We have roughly $45 million in the bank, so we're well capitalized. We have a lot of in the money dilutives as well, even with the recent falls in stock prices across the sector. So we're well positioned for the next 18 months to 24 months, certainly, and beyond if we need to be. I mean, my view of the capital markets is, I think the big difference between the last time we saw a fall on the lithium side, it corresponded with a fall in the commodity price. That hasn't happened this time. The commodity price remains very high. And really, I think what we're seeing in stock prices is really more driven by the risk-off trade globally. So I think when things revert to normal, I think battery metals is going to be one of the strong performers. And we feel very good about the state of our balance sheet, but also the support we have from our major shareholders.
You said in another interview that the analog with your company is Lithium Americas, which has a $3.5 billion market cap. Your company is about the 10th of the size, but you share also some of the geology and also kind of share that, how would you say, that continental reach?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to make. I mean, Lithium Americas obviously has Thacker Pass in Nevada, which is on the same claystone trend as us. It's a couple of years further down the development path than we are, and then it has operations in South America. On the brine side, with their partnership, with Ganfeng at Cauchari, and then they recently bought Millennial. So for us, we think Falchani definitely sets up as a good, obviously different form of mineralization, but we think that we would put it up against South American assets. Again, maybe not quite as advanced yet, and we certainly believe TLC ultimately has the potential to be a similar nameplate to Thacker Pass. So, yes, we're a couple of years earlier than them, but obviously our goal is to close the gap between their market value today and where we are today, and we certainly think we have the assets to do that.
Taking a swing to a different commodity, but you have been bringing it up. You also have a uranium project, Simon.
Yes, we have the Macusani uranium project in southern Peru. It sits at the other side of the Macusani Plateau from the Falchani lithium deposit. And originally Plateau was focused on uranium, and they built the district at Macusani. So I think it's the 5th largest undeveloped uranium asset on the planet. It's about 125 million pounds in total if you add all the categories in, and getting bigger. We found a bunch more targets that we will look to drill there. It's had 5 economic studies on it. It's very robust. I think in the last economic study, the OPEX is about $17 a pound. So outside of Kazakhstan, and I think one of the Denison mines, it would be on a cost basis one of the best on the planet. And so that's brought a lot of interest in it. I mean, when we acquired Plateau, we were focused on Falchani. We weren't looking to bring in a uranium deposit, but at the same time, it's an exceptional deposit that we think will attract a lot of value. So as we move forward, we will look to spin it out into its own vehicle for the benefit of our shareholders and American Lithium as well. But we don't think it's ever going to attract the value it should within a lithium developer. So it needs to be in its own vehicle, focused on its own business plan and driving what is a great asset forward. So that would be our plan. We're taking the steps to be able to structure that over the coming months, and obviously we'll see how the market shakes out as we move through the fall and into early next year. But it's definitely a priority of ours to let that asset stand alone. I think if I could give you a snapshot, it was Macusani Yellowcake, which was the original company before Plateau, had a market capitalization of 125 million on 10 million pound resource before Fukushima. So again, today the resource is 12.5 times that, and we think in its own vehicle and with the right uranium market, that the asset should do very well in its own right.
Lastly, Simon, and I think you've teased out a couple of these milestones over the next 12 months.
Yeah, so a maiden PEA in Nevada at TLC. It's a major milestone for us. Should be wrapped up within Q3 here as we move forward. In Peru, we've got a major drill program at both Falchani and Macusani. As you pointed out, we've started pre-feas work at Falchani. We will, as part of that process, also update the existing PEA on Falchani to reclassify the resources measured and indicated, which then allows us to move fully in and create reserves in the feasibility phase. So lots going on there. And then, as I mentioned, drilling at Macusani and also at the right time a spin out of that project. So lots going on, lots of drilling, lots of economic studies and feasibility work as well.
Simon, thanks for speaking with Kitco.
No problem. Thank you for your time and for the great questions.
He's Simon Clarke. He is CEO of American Lithium. My name is Michael McRae, and you're watching Kitco Mining.